In this video, we're going to look at derived units and density as well. So what is a derived unit? It's just a combination of units. We all know this if you think about speed, miles per hour. So derived units here would be miles an hour. But since this is science, we have to use SI, so we would use kilometers per hour. And if you ever gone to Canada, you will see that their speed signs are in km per hour. Now, some derived units that we use in the lab are volume and density. Volume is just a measure of space. How much space does something take up? These units are either going to be cube centimeters, cm to the power of 3 here, or liters. And density is just the ratio of something's mass to its volume. And the units are mass divided by volume. Now, here's a question. And again, like always, please pause to think about it and come back when you have an answer. So which weighs more, a ton of bricks or a ton of feathers? Which is more dense? So this is a trick question because a ton is a unit of weight, is 2,000 pounds. So a ton of bricks and a ton of feathers weigh the exact same. But what is more dense? That would be the bricks. They have more weight and a smaller volume compared to the feathers. So they would be more dense. Now let's try to do an example problem. What is the density of an object that weighs 5.20 grams and has a volume of 3.123 cubic meters? Cubic centimeters. Take a second, pause, come back when you have an answer. All right, so to solve this, first you have to ask yourself, what is density? Well, we know density is mass, 5.2 grams, divided by volume, 3.123 cubic centimeters. So the answer is simply take your 5.20 grams and you divide it by 3.123 cubic centimeters. You get 1.67 grams per cubic centimeter. Now, very important in this class, in all science classes, you cannot just give me a number without units. All answers must have units unless that number is unitless. So on tests, quizzes, in the lab, if you give a unitless answer, that answer is going to be wrong. All right, the last thing we're going to talk about is intensive and extensive properties. So density is a physical property. We talked about those before, and it's temperature dependent. How things expand because their volume expands, cold things shrink because their volume decreases. While they expand and they shrink, their mass stays the same. Now, we say density is intensive because it's independent of the amount of substance. So think about it this way. If I have a gold brick, it has a certain density, it has a certain weight by volume. If I cut that gold brick in half, each of those two halves have the same density. You have the same mass to volume ratio if the two halves are at the same temperature. Since density is independent of how much stuff I have, it is an intensive property. The reverse or opposite of that is an extensive property. That is, it's dependent on the amount of stuff I have. Examples would be mass and volume. For that gold brick example, the more gold I have, the more mass I have. So it depends on the amount of substance. Also, the more gold I have, the more volume it will take up. It's dependent on the amount of substance. So we say that is extensive property. All right, that's all for this video. See you in the next one.